Hi everybody, foXnoMad here, and today I want to help you travel smarter by reviewing the Anker Soundbuds Curve, road tested after 6 months of continuous use and travel. Now, when I first did my review of these earbuds, I called them solidly average, and I want to add two things to that now because they really excel in two categories that I think are very important both for working out and for traveling. And those two things being battery life and durability with an Anker caveat, but more about that in a minute. So I've been using the Anker Soundbuds Curve extensively for the past 6 months. I've been running with these outside, inside, at a gym, outside the gym, in hot weather, cold weather, rain, lots of sweat for hours on end. And they've held up really well, like surprisingly well. And one thing they do really well is something that a lot of people don't consider, is that they actually stay in your ear, which I've tried out and reviewed so many sports earbuds and different kinds of earbuds, and half of them don't stay in my ear. And I know everybody has different shaped ears, so it can depend on how your ears are shaped and how much you sweat and so on. But these hooks do a really good job of staying in your ears, especially when you're just drenched in sweat or rain, and the ear hooks are pretty comfortable. I'll say that in hot weather, I did notice that they would start to irritate my skin after a few hours of use, just sort of mild irritation, nothing major, just kind of what you would get from hot plastic being stuck behind your ear with sweat for hours on time in hot weather, that kind of just mild irritation, but they're pretty comfortable over the long term. The ear hooks themselves have held up pretty well. They still remain flexible. They haven't broken and they're not scratched up. And considering how much I've used these, that's a pretty good indicator of durability because you can't replace those ear hooks. So that's something to know. But they'll last you, well, at least a solid 6 months of extensive use, taking them on and off and just kind of getting crumpled and bent up in your gym bag, for example. And speaking about crumpled up and thrown in a gym bag, I've done these both ways. So I've used the case extensively, but a lot of times I just take these and just smash them into a gym bag and just run off to, go for a workout. And they've survived all of that as well. There's been no negative impact on the hardware. There's just a little bit of tiny bit of scratching on this matte finish right here where it says Anker on both sides of the earbuds, but that's to be expected. It's kind of a little bit of a soft plastic there because they're using matte, but it's nothing major, especially considering how much I've used these earbuds. I'm surprised that they're not more scratched up. And although it's not in the instruction manual, they've even survived being washed. So I've hand washed these, I washed them with soap, and they didn't work initially. And then after like 30 or 40 minutes of drying them out in the sun, magic happens and they started to work. Not both earbuds completely, but it would take like a day and then the left one would come back on or the right one would come back on. It's definitely not recommended, but this is a road tested review and I wanted to see what these things could go through, and they can go through hand washing. But for your use, to make sure that you just use some sort of electronics cleaner to clean these up, don't wash them with don't hand wash them. The cable between both earbuds has also remained pretty soft and pretty flexible. They don't get kind of hard. Some plastics will get a little bit hard when you sweat a lot, they'll crack and so on, but these have remained pretty soft so far, which is also another good indication for durability. And the sound quality, although it's a little bit inconsistent, which I noted in my first review. So sometimes things that should be loud, maybe you'll go to another song and that song won't be quite as loud as the first song, or you'll be listening to a podcast and for some reason it'll kind of drop off in sound. You have to crank up the volume a little bit or turn it down. The sound quality is a little bit inconsistent, but it's still pretty good. In my original review, like I said, solidly average, but when you consider the price of these earbuds, it's pretty good, honestly, for earbuds that are like $26. The sound profile is pretty clean and a little bit bass heavy too, which is nice when you're working out too, because it gives you a little bit more energy, kind of a boost to hear that bass when you're running or weightlifting or whatever. So that's also really nice. So for durability, so far, the hardware, these are pretty durable earbuds with the Anker caveat. But again, more about that in a second. The battery life is also like just absolutely amazing. It says 18 hours in the instruction manual and spec sheet, but you can easily get way over 24 hours using these earbuds. I mean, like constantly using them. In fact, I can almost remember every time I've charged these earbuds, they last a ridiculous amount of time. The battery life is quite impressive and you can get 3 hours of use with just a 10-minute charge, but more like a few minutes of charge will get you just like hours and hours of battery use that you won't even notice really. So battery life is quite amazing. Charging time is very, very fast. The only thing I'll note though is when the battery gets kind of low, so every time you turn these on, it's going to notify you. The battery is high, the battery is medium, your battery is running low. Those are all cool. It's great to hear that when you first turn on your earbuds, so you kind of have an idea of how much battery life you have. But when it gets to the low battery warning, it'll just insistently like remind you, which is very annoying. I get it. The battery is low. I'm going to have to recharge these when I get home, but I'm probably listening to these when I'm already out and about. I'm probably listening to these when I'm not in a place to charge them. So just remind me once or twice maybe, but not like every couple of minutes. Battery is low, because then it's taking away when I'm listening to music, when I'm running or outside. Then I'm just hearing those battery warnings instead of what I want to listen to. I'd rather kind of spare that battery life and just let me listen to what I'm listening to until the earbuds completely just die. The charging time is quick enough to where in most cases it won't matter. So you get back home, you can just plug these in real quick, or if you're at a gym, you can just kind of plug these up real quick. So 1 or 2 warnings would be fine, but the incessant warning just kind of gets annoying. So just, be aware that when it starts going to low battery warning, you're just going to hear that over and over and over. And maybe that kind of trains you to charge these up when you get to the medium battery warning, so you don't ever have to go through that. But that said, the battery life is very good. It quite stands out compared to all these other budget earbuds in this price range with the Anker Caveat. And what is the Anker Caveat? I think it's time we talk about it. The Anker Caveat is the fact that whenever you buy these Anker earbuds or any Anker product from any of their line, whether it's a portable charger, earbuds, headphones, whatever it happens to be, Anker products tend to have this hit or miss consistency issue. And what that basically means is there's a non-insignificant chance that the earbuds or whatever Anker product you order is just going to flat out either not work when you first get it or die very soon after you get it. It's just going to completely just crap out on you, and you're going to have to return or exchange them. Now, most of their products are in the budget category, so it's not that you're buying a very expensive product and then you're just getting it and it's broken. And most of the time when you order it, you've got a 30-day or you've got some kind of decent amount of money back guarantee where you can exchange these or return these. And I've noticed I've gotten a couple of these Anker Soundbuds Curve, and it also falls into this Anker Caveat, which means some of them work really great. You get them out of the box and they're working perfectly. Some of them aren't working at all, like after the first day of use. And some of them kind of died after about 4 to 6 weeks, which is just right outside that return range. And it's something that's really a product of their quality control. So what that means for you, if you're going to get any Anker product, and like these Soundbuds Curve as well, you want to make sure that you thoroughly test them when you get them. If you've got a return window, you want to make sure that you use these enough that they don't die on you, that something doesn't go wrong either with the earbuds or the battery, it doesn't start dying after an hour or something like that. You want to use these as much as you can, especially if you're using these for travel earbuds. You definitely want to use them as much as you can, just to make sure that if you have to return them, you can, and that you can see any kind of problems that come out either with the hardware or maybe the physical, the plastic starts cracking early or something like that. You just want to make sure that all of those things are working, and you want to use it as much as possible. So you kind of do your own quality control just to make sure that you can return or exchange these if you have to. Anker does make a lot of really good products. Their lineup has gotten a lot better over the years, and for budget, just electronic gear, headphones, earbuds, portable chargers, all kinds of things that are great both in tech and as far as for traveling, they're really good when they're working. So with that Anker Caveat, you're just going to want to make sure that you test them extensively while you can during that return window. That said, using these particular Anker Soundbuds Curve for 6 months, they've turned out to be extremely durable and have great battery life. I gotta say, excellent battery life on these with the Anker Caveat. But when they're working, the Anker Soundbuds Curve are a very good deal on a pair of budget workout earbuds. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out any more of my road tested, I'll leave a link to that playlist down in the description below. And while you're down there, hit the like and subscribe buttons. I'll have new videos for you every week, and I will see you in the next video. A little bit more of all kinds of weather. These batteries.